Okay, as you can see here, welcome to English 252 Introductory Composition. So today, um, I really just want to cover the groundwork of this course outline and sort of explore how this class is going to operate, especially in this certain digital climate that we're in. Uh, we're going to be online in this format of you receiving a lecture via YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday until we're actually face to face again, which looks like it's going to be after the 21st of January. So every Tuesday and Thursday, at least by 2 o'clock p.m., expect me sending an email with a YouTube link, and that will be our lecture for today. And I'm going to go over today too some of the shifting of the dates since we did miss a week of classes due to COVID-19 precautions. So that's going to have to be adjusted. I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue, but we're going to have to remain flexible with regard to that. So welcome to English 252, Winter 2020 Standard, Semi-Standard, 2022 Semi-Standard, because we're working from home, right? Concept of this class. My name is Jeremy Jackson. Uh, you can see my email here under my name, jjackson@mhc.ab.ca. Feel free, we're going to talk about this in a moment. Feel free to email me at any point for clarifications or any type of concerns that you wish to raise, and I typically will get back to you within an hour. And that counts too on the weekend. I'm going to try to give you as much flexibility with regard to access to me. So even on the weekend, I'll try to get back to you right away. So the course times and locations are sort of arbitrary at this point because we're at home and we're not going to meet from 8 a.m. to 9:15. That's not when I'm going to send the lecture. The lectures are typically going to be 30 to 40 to 50 minutes. They're going to vary and fluctuate sometimes during the next 2 weeks. But we will get back. I'm pretty confident. I'm fairly confident we're going to get back to brick and mortar face to face at some point. And then this will not be arbitrary. We are going to meet from 8 to 9:15 early class in room S102. Now I'm just looking at the calendar description here of this class, of what it entails. This course focuses on, reading straight from it, academic essays, writing, and critical thinking at the university level. That's its main focus, really. Is we're gonna delve deep. We're gonna wade our toes slightly at first with our essay writing, and then we're going to advance through more complex essay writing, right, throughout the semester. And I'll give you plenty of examples along the way of good essays and mediocre essays and bad essays so that you can sort of avoid and model your essay the way you want and what grade you want to receive. So English 252 is not a remedial course. Students should have at least a senior high school level of competency in both grammar and composition, and I'm sure you do. You wouldn't be at this in this class if you could not demonstrate that or prove that. Note, students cannot receive credit for both English 252 and Gen Ed 1401. It's a typical class, hours, 42 hours, 3 credit hours. Um, we slightly touched upon this before, but let me elaborate right here with office hours. It says 2:15 to 1:15 each day, Monday through Friday. So just email me at any point if you have any concerns or want to raise or have a question that need fielded. Let's see. Program delivery may be subject to change, as we know now, due to health or other factors beyond Medicine College's control. And we're entering that phase right now, right? The idea of receiving digital asynchronous lecture delivery. And by the way, I'm going to post all these lectures in on our Blackboard page under a folder called YouTube Lectures. So if you lose the email, you'll always be able to find the lecture link to YouTube on our Blackboard page. So you can see the link here under Learning Resources. You can click on that to either purchase the book there, or you can purchase it through Amazon if you want to, or you can purchase it used. Um, yeah, or you can find it on campus with other students that are willing to sell it for a cheaper price. So it's the Empowered Writer third edition. Make sure you purchase the third edition. There is a fourth edition and a second edition floating out there. But the chapters do not line up properly because we're going to cover this in a moment. But part of your assignments this semester would be to submit, I think, eight or nine chapter summaries. And the summaries, and we're going to go over this later, but the summaries just have to be simply one paragraph. You're just highlighting the main points of the chapter, right? It's not too difficult. Many students opt out to not even do the chapters for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's easy points. And you can even bulletize the main points. It doesn't have to be in paragraph form. So it's pretty simple. It's a test if you're going to do it or not, right? Course objectives and learning outcomes. Students successfully completing English 252 should be able to do the following. One, think critically when analyzing various literary works, and we're going to look at a plethora of them, of various works, during this semester to sort of model our own writing and to challenge our own thinking process, right? To sort of expand our horizons of what we can critically think about and argument on behalf of. That's going to be a large part of this class is to inform uh, and later on to argument. And then later on, towards the end of the semester, to do both. Once we get to the research essay, to both inform the reader and also argument on behalf of a subject matter of your choice. And that's going to be another topic that needs to be discussed, is the idea that you get to choose what you want to write about. I'll guide you with regard to the subject matter of your essays this semester, but it's up to you to sort of choose what subject matter you want to choose and write about and elaborate on and attest to through the essay form. Certainly, you can ask me to help expand an idea. I don't mind doing that at all. Number two, distinguish between a text's main points and the supporting details. So that's going to be important this semester. And that goes along with number three, summarize another author's work. So this semester, you're going to have to reach out once we get to the second essay, which is the informative essay, what's called expository. And just think of that word expository and the idea of expose. You're just informing the reader on a subject matter and exposing its various details. And it's going to become important at that point to reach out to the internet, to reach out to databases on Medicine at College's website, to reach out to other outside authorities and borrow from them in order to give your own essay authority and credence. And we're going to cover that once we get to the second essay. We're going to thoroughly cover and give you examples of essays that do so in a sort of exemplar sort of way. Number four, use correct grammatical form. That's going to be an issue with some individuals this semester. I'll correct you as much as I can. Certainly on the first essay. The personal essay is our first essay. And I'm going to lecture on that on Thursday. Yeah, no, it's going to be next week. This Thursday, we're going to receive a YouTube link lecture on MLA, Modern Language Association Formatting Style, which is going to be critical this semester to learn that. So grammatical form, I'll do as much as I can to mark it up on your first essay, and that will give you guidance for your essays moving forward, hopefully. Five, write unified, coherent, and complete sentences, paragraphs, and essays. 6, argue logically and ethically. So insensitivity to audience in both written and oral presented formats. We're not going to do an oral presentation of any sort this semester, other than, and we're going to get to this in a moment, this class operates as what's called a workshop. An essay writing workshop where we're peer reviewed by our fellow students, right? So you are going to have to at some point read your essay aloud, your rough drafts, right? And I'll give you feedback, and your fellow peers in the class will give you feedback as well. And that will help guide you moving forward with your final draft. So that feedback will be for your rough draft. Number 7, use research sources effectively to support a well-constructed argument, including the following abilities. Locate appropriate sources using the library catalog, article databases, and the internet. And it's most likely going to be the latter. Library catalog, databases and internet. Gone are the days that we sit down in a library for hours at a time and do research. You certainly can, but I mean, it's such a wide open landscape of availability online today for academic resources. There's no reason why you can't do a full essay just from that. And we're going to have a whole lecture on databases and a whole lecture on the appropriate websites, appropriate sources versus inappropriate ones or ineffective ones or misinformation. Let's see. Evaluate sources. I'm just under number 7 on the second bullet point. Evaluate sources for suitability and credibility. Like I said, you're going to get a whole lecture on that. How can a website pass the eye test in terms of it being a credible source? And how can we test that, right? You have to self-vet these websites. And we're going to have a lecture where I tell you which websites do not use. Integrate sources smoothly and logically into text. So all that means is give an attribution, right? Smoothly integrate the direct quote, the paraphrase, or the summary, or whatever it is, however you're integrating that information from outside authorities into your essay. The fourth bullet point under 7, the last one, document sources correctly using a recognizable citation style. And then in this class, and it's going to be an issue for some individuals, you're going to turn in essays that aren't MLA. You're going to use AP style formatting style, and that's wrong. That's for the sciences, right? In an English class that you're ever going to be in, it's always going to be Modern Language Association, MLA, formatting style, of which you will receive a lecture on Thursday. A pretty long and boring lecture, but it's critical because that's going to be a large component of your grade is your MLA formatting style and how well you integrate that into your essay. So here we go. We have a very sort of detailed breakdown of how the class, how this semester is going to proceed in terms of the dates and assignments and due dates and what we expect to be lectured on that day. And it's going to change, as we said before. It has to because we missed the 6th and we missed, yeah, oh, okay. Looks like this class is lucky. We only missed the 6th. So we're only 1 day behind. English 252 is an introductory university level composition course designed to focus on academic essay writing and critical thinking. In order to enhance their current skills, students will study examples of effective writing and compose various written and oral assignments on their own. As we said before, it's going to be mostly written. There's no oral presentation component of this class other than participate in the workshop. And we're going to look at that in a moment in terms of how large a percentage that is of your grade. Wherever possible, English 252 is designed to recognize students' personal interests, objectives, and learning styles. To that end, this course will provide flexible and differing styles of writing with varying modes of delivery. The following schedule, as we noted before, is provisional, and because due to the fact that we may need to adjust the sequencing depending on the pace of the online discussions, or in this case, various degrees of lockdown. And just looking at January 6th, introduction to course and class expectations. So that's today. And we just shifted it down to January 11th, right? The introduction to the course, and we're looking at the course outline. And I'm not going to go through all these, but I'll go through a first month or so to show you how it really is formulaic once each essay is dedicated to a different month with a little bit of overlap. So review MLA formatting style today. Sorry, that's going to be on, we're going to shift everything forward, right? That's going to be on the 13th. That's next class. And then we start to review the elements. Your first essay is the personal essay. I'll inform you of the elements. I'll post that to Blackboard. I'll give you instructions for going to Blackboard in order to go over the elements, and I'm going to send you a link for the YouTube link as well, so the lecture on YouTube, so you can listen and watch the lecture. And I'll give you an example too. And we'll go through an example together. I'll point out its strong points. I'll point out its weak points. For this personal essay, the example I give is a really good one. It's exemplary sort of personal essay by a student. Most of the examples I'm going to give this semester, good, bad, and otherwise, are by students that I've had in the past. Yeah, and a good point to mention too is that every final draft of each essay this semester you will upload to Blackboard, and I'll always send instructions that day that, hey, this is due today. Here's the instructions for going to our Blackboard page and uploading your essay so I can grade it. And typically I'll get back to you with a grade and update your grade on that essay, whatever essay we're working on that you turned in for a final grade. I'll update that grade in Blackboard a week later. So, and then we're going to review various essays. One of them is Black Men in Public Space. I'll read it for you in our lecture, and then I'll post it to Blackboard. And then we're going to give comments on Blackboard. Any comments you want, right? We're going to talk about points to talk about ad nauseum about this essay because it's a really great essay. It's seductive, it's evocative, it's thought-provoking, and it's important. And it's urgent. It's talks about sort of the stereotyping of black males in society in the 1980s and how we could thrust that forward, and it still exists today in the second decade of the new millennium. There's a great essay by Amanda Monte. We can see here on the January 20th, but it's really going to be the 25th. And it's about how the pandemic has really affected her. And in effect, it's turned her into an alcoholic. So we're kind of going to look at that and see how that is a sort of an attestation of her personal experience. Because that's what the personal essay is about. It's your own narrative, your own story, something that happened to you in the past, good, bad, ugly, otherwise. And we're just going to that's how we're going to sort of merge our way into essay writing. For a lot of you, it's just going to be a review. For many of you. And then, as you can see, once we get to the end of January, personal essay rough draft workshop in class begins. So you're going to bring your rough drafts to class, 3 to 5 pages, double spaced. At that point, it doesn't really have to be MLA formatting style, because I can't hear your MLA, right? And I'm not going to read your essay by you handing me the paper. We're just going to listen to you. If we're going to still be, well, depending on if we're brick and mortar face to face, we might have to upload our rough drafts to Blackboard, and then I'll give you instruction for going in there and commenting on other people's essays. But if we're face to face, you just bring it to class. We read as many as we can aloud, and then we just give verbal commentary, what we think the student author is doing correctly, and how they're adhering to personal essay elements, or how they're veering away, and how they can sort of fix that. Usually, students get a great deal of wholesome and productive feedback from other students, and it really works out well to help correct your essay and get a better grade. Then we're just going to, and as you can see, we're going to continue to look at personal essay ideas, review Knock Knock, spoken word poetry, and this poet talks about his past with his relationship with his father, who's incarcerated, so it's very personal. And then, beginning in February, we had 1 month, sort of, to work on our personal essay. Now the final draft is due via Blackboard, and I'll send you instructions that day. And expect, I think I mentioned this before, expect the lecture to be sent to you in email form, the link sent to you by 2 o'clock every day, or every day we meet, so Tuesday and Thursdays. Let's see. This will be just looking at our reading break right here, February 22nd through the 24th, no class, so bear that in mind. Okay, so look at the rest of the dates on your own. And again, shift them forward by 1 week because we missed that one class. But let's see. And you can see you get an extra week to turn in your final research essay, which will be helpful. I think it will be due by midnight. And that's for all our essays. When I send you the instructions for when it's due, the final draft, you have until midnight that night to upload it to Blackboard. Instructional techniques. English 252 will function partly as an online workshop. We covered that before. That is to say, we will craft our essays, drafts, and other writing assignments in order to peer review them by uploading them to Blackboard, or when we meet face-to-face, or do it within the class, or bring our rough drafts to class to review them. So the way the Blackboard operates, and I don't know if we're going to get to that point, because I do believe we're going to be face-to-face sooner rather than later, but say we are going to do the Blackboard, we'll upload our rough draft. We upload our personal essay rough draft as our first essay rough draft to Blackboard. I'll send you the instructions. You upload it. After the window closes at midnight, Blackboard will automatically assign you 3 student rough drafts. Then you have, I think, a week to go back into Blackboard, read those rough drafts, and it gives you a space to give commentary. Then you hit enter, upload it, and that's part of your workshop grade. Classroom activities will include short lectures, demonstrations, explanations, as well as a variety of online worksheets for hands-on practice and experience. There's not going to be any worksheets in this class, but we will do the workshop. That will be our sort of a large part of this class and our participation grade. In addition, students in English 252 will be enrolled into the Blackboard site specific to this course, available through the Mid-Atlantic College website. Through Blackboard, students will obtain additional course information, have opportunities for virtual collaboration in groups, and on projects. So it's going to become very important, crucial, and critical even for you to check your email on a daily basis to see me sending you updates when assignments are due. But don't rely upon me to know when assignments are due unless there's this confusion. Unless you simply don't understand the course outline, you can email me and I'll try to clarify for you. But just try to always reference the course outline. But check your email often when due dates are. And updates if we have to change the schedule, as we already had to. Also, I'll send instructions for you having to upload your essays to Blackboard, or anything that we're doing on Blackboard to Blackboard discussion. So as you can see, Blackboard's going to be an important component of this class. Personal essay, our first essay, 10% of your grade. Not a great deal. They build, right? They incrementally get larger, the percentages of how much portion of your grade it is. 3 to 5 pages, double space, not that long. In fact, sometimes it's hard to write 3 to 5 pages to keep your essay under 5 pages because you have so much you want to say. Or the subject matter is so robust, you can't narrow it down to 5 pages. And that's fine. Students ask me often, I went to 7 pages or 8 pages. That's okay. What we don't want to do is just start to ramble, right? So as long as we're keeping our writing concise and compressed. Compression is going to be a big part of this writing style as we move forward, right? Not throwing in too much fluff, right? Just to get to the 3-page minimum, right? We don't want to do that. 3 to 5 pages, double spaced, adheres to Mla Formatting Style. And that's all the essays. Here's the Mla formatting style. Expository essay, your second essay, 15%, 3 to 5 pages, double spaced. Here's the Mla formatting style. Contains a works cited page with a minimum of 3 sources. So 3 outside sources that you went and you're either direct quoting, you're summarizing, or you're paraphrasing from them. And you integrate that into your essay. And you have to add on that works cited page, right? That works cited page does not count as part of the 3 to 5 pages. It's an extra page to throw on there. Argumentative essays, again, 15%, 3 to 5 pages, double space. Adheres to all Mla formatting style. Contains a works cited page, minimum 3 sources, just like the expository. Research essay, 20%, so big chunk of your grade. 5 to 7 pages, double space, so we increase the pagination. Adheres to all Mla formatting style. Contains a works cited page, minimum of 5 sources, and we've increased the sources, right? And then we have the online workshop participation, which we've covered. It's 20%. It's a large part of your grade. To go into Blackboard and comment on those 3 randomly assigned student essay rough drafts, if we're not face-to-face, if we're still digital, or come to class and comment on and bring your essay to class, your rough draft, so you can read it aloud and have commentary made on it. Chapter and text summaries, 5%. And again, that just has to be a paragraph. You're going to upload it to Blackboard. I'll send instructions when it's due. You have to midnight to do it each time it's due. And then at the end of the semester, we have a 25 question multiple choice MLA, Modern Language Association test. And by then, you should be well versed, if not an expert, on MLA. I would have commented on it enough. It would have come up many times when I give you essay examples and student essay examples, and I point out how they either adhere to or strayed away from Mla formatting style. So I would have given you a lot of instruction on it. Dates of major assignments, you can go over that on your own. And they may shift by 1 day, right, because of us missing that first class. We're going to try to adhere to it, to those due dates if we can. Final exam, you'll be happy to know, and actually relieved even, that there is no final exam or midterm, nothing in this class, no exam, no examination whatsoever. Late assignments and missed exam policy. So really what I want to talk about with this, I'll read this in a moment, but just as a side note, I've had students, I at least have 1 or 2 students every semester, and it's a shame really, is that they attend class and then they start tapering off and their assignments start tapering off, their final assignments, they don't turn them in, their final essays. And then out of the blue, 2 months into the semester, they email me and they say, hey, I know on the course outline we're dinged or penalized 10% per day of late assignments. Me not turning in the essay. It looks like I would get a 0 if I turn them in. Can I still turn them in and get and try to pass this class? With the minimum grade to pass it, so I'm not wasting money and wasting everybody's time. And I say yes. Email me sooner rather than later so we can hammer out a contract of you moving forward, so you can somehow try to pass this class. Because we all have problems during the semester, and that's 'cause I know you're not in just my class. I know you're enrolled in multiple classes, and that's fine. That's how college and university operates. And it's sometimes it's easy to fall behind, and then it snowballs, right? And there's a domino effect, and you feel like you can't pull yourself out of that hole. But I'm telling you, you can if you just contact me sooner rather than later, and we can figure out a plan moving forward. So late assignments are penalized 10% per day. You must write me prior to that assignment due date if you're facing challenges that require you to reschedule. Bear in mind that rescheduling any assignment due date must occur before the original due date. It must be in writing. So in writing, all we mean is it's an email form, right? You contact me through email. I say, okay, yes, of course you can have another couple days. You will be penalized. Or you email me and say it was due a month ago. What do I do? Can I still get points? I say yes. It's not going to be a lot of points, but hopefully if it's well written, it's going to be enough to push you forward in the class. Plagiarized work will result in a grade of 0 upon first offense and will result in a failure of the course upon second offense. This comes up every now and again. The sound of your essay writing becomes more, academic than what it was. Much more academic than what it was prior, and I sort of noticed that, so I flag it and I look it up on the internet, and sure enough, you didn't give attribution. So attribution just means according to so and so, who's an authority in the subject matter of A, Y, Z, X, Y, and Z, right? So if you give proper attribution and you quote it, or you tell me who is the authority that you're quoting, and you give them some level of credentials of how they're an expert on it, then you avoid plagiarism, right? Examples of plagiarism include copying passages from another source without proper attribution, so that according to or he said or she said, paraphrasing another author's work without attribution, handing in a work already evaluated in another course. So that doesn't sound like it would be plagiarism, but it most certainly is. If you say you had a psychology class and you wrote an essay that you received a really good grade on, and you're like, wow, this is really informative. This would work perfectly for the expository essay within my English 252 class. The answer is no. You cannot use that. You can't what we call double dip. You can't use the same essay in two classes. And of course, the age-old one, the last thing here of what plagiarism is, passing off another person's work as your own. It doesn't happen often, but some people do fall into the realm of plagiarism, either on accidentally or on purpose. Academic dishonesty, plagiarism, and cheating are serious offenses and may be punished by failure on exam, paper, or project, failure in course, and/or expulsion from the course. So I know this. It really comes down to the idea and distills down to the idea that you're just cheating yourself, right? You're gonna say you plagiarize and then you don't really learn, the function and the structure and the underpinnings and the architecture and the landscape of an essay writing. And then you move on to another class, an English class, or any other class where you have to produce an essay, and you're at that point, you're at a loss. You haven't learned anything at that point, right? You haven't advanced your writing abilities. And we don't want that. We want to avoid that. Common grading scheme. You can look at this on your own. I think it's quite generous in terms of the A plus to A minus, so the A range, right? 90, 100, all the way down to 85 or 80 is an A, is in the realm of A. So take a look at that at your leisure. Accessibility statement. If you're a student that requires additional accommodation to support your learning, and have been approved through our Accessibility Services Office, room B367, please contact your instructor prior to exams or any other forms of evaluation if accommodation is desired. So please do so. Every semester I have a couple students who adhere to this, and that's great. This will be important. Mental health statement. This sort of goes along with your late assignments, right? You enter a state of mental health duress, and I understand that. But there are resources available, right? Medicine College recognizes the importance of student mental health and well-being and has many resources available for supporting students throughout their academic journey. Services such as counseling, support groups, self-help modules dedicated to helping you manage things like anxiety, stress, depression, and relationships are accessible to students on the campus as well as online. I would implore you to seek those out if need be. To connect with mental health and counseling, visit the Student Advisory Desk across from registration by calling 405-529-3819. Information is also available online at that link. So I implore you, I want you to sort of gravitate towards that if you need to. If it's going to be completely anonymous. They won't reach out to me unless you want them to, but you could always reach out to me. If you feel like you're having some sort of state of mental health duress, and we can work something out. In addition, the Student At-Risk Support Team SARS is here to respond to concerns around mental health and physical well-being, security, and academic issues, offering additional intervention and connecting students with appropriate resources on campus at this link here. So your responsibilities this semester, student responsibilities: attend class lectures on a regular basis, read all assignment texts prior to class, craft all class assignments using strictly MFA formatting style. APA is not permitted. Be attentive and respectful to the instructor and your fellow students at all times. That's typically not a problem. Be observant of the diversity of ideas and subject matter expressed in this class. Okay, that's it. That's the review of what to expect with our course outline and moving forward with our assignments. Just to let you know and give you a heads up, Thursday this week is our next lecture. I'll send you, just like I did today, a YouTube link to that lecture. And we're going to cover the Mla Formatting Style. It's going to take the entirety of the class. It's a long lecture. But it gives us the bones, the skeletal sort of structure of what MLA is. Some of it in the lecture, you're going to notice that we just simply don't use, but I'll point out what the ones that are important within the lecture. And I'll give you the website to go to, so in case you have any questions during the semester with regard to MLA. And the book has a good chapter dedicated. The Writer has a good chapter dedicated to MLA formatting style. So you can always access that throughout the semester. All right, so welcome to the class. It's going to be a good semester, hopefully. I apologize that we're in this digital asynchronous form of receiving our lectures. I know some students don't enjoy that particularly. Other students do, because it gives them the ability to access the lecture at any time and many times. They can do it multiple times. They don't have to just simply do it once. But not everybody learns well by just simply listening to someone lecture, right? We're never going to meet online live. It's always going to be me sending you a link, just to let you know, okay? But please reach out to me at any point this semester. That's is true for this digital format as well as when we meet face to face with regard to any questions or concerns or areas that you need clarified. Okay, look forward to contacting you again on Thursday. Look out for that lecture to be delivered by 2 p.m. All right, have a good day. Bye.